Welcome to Business on the Vine. I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis, and in this dynamic series, we dive into the challenges, breakthroughs, and victories of entrepreneurs who have turned their passion into success. Welcome. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Business on the Vine. I'm your host, Lady Jen Du Plessis, and with me today is my dear friend. And I feel like we are dear friends because every time we see each other, it's funny, Jill, we don't have to talk all the time, but we're like right back to square one. Right back to square one every time we have this conversation. So love it having you on the show here today, Jill. And let me do the honor of inviting or telling everyone about you properly. She is a 25-year media magnet. She is world-renowned. She is a world-renowned publicity expert, international speaker, and four-time best-selling author. She has made thousands of stage appearances alongside all the people I've been alongside. Tony Robbins, Barbara Corcoran, Jack Canfield. Oh, I love Barbara. Did you love Barbara?
Love Barbara. Grace and beauty. Yes.
Oh, yeah, but she's
right out.
Yeah, she doesn't care what anybody thinks. I love her. Just to name a few, she has worked with over 100,000 clients implementing her signature formula for getting media attention, creating next level visibility in the marketplace that results in boosted sales. And that's the bottom line. Publicity, visibility, more influence, more exposure, all that's fun and dandy. But if it doesn't bring in the moolah, yeah. Welcome on the show.
Thank you so much. Yep, we got to get it translated so that you actually get seen, get heard, and get paid is what I like to say.
Yeah,
so good to be with you.
Yeah, well, I'm happy that you're here with me. So we're going to get started right off the bat here with Business on the Vine in telling us, how did you start your business? Where did it come from?
It came a little bit by accident, hating where I was, and that is, I was actually in law school, and I thought that was going to be the way that I was going to help and serve, and that made sense to me at the time. And then I got to law school. So for me, with a highly creative mind, and it's a tough place to be. I made it through 1 year, but during that year, I actually started this career now, meaning I started working in the music business because I thought, well, this will be fun. I'll have some, for me, what would be more interesting, and started working for music business attorneys. And then next thing I know, I'm like big in the music business. I ran the Rock and Roll Museum in San Francisco. I started as director of publicity at 4 independent record labels. I did music management and actually did this whole career within music that was all about publicity. And what I learned is that, well, the music business is all about perception. So it was the perfect time because perception is all about publicity. And so it was really a perfect kind of downstream into my career, and then upstream, which then started the public relations agency and got tapped to write guerrilla publicity, and that started my whole book authorship career. So I think just got started because of, in a way, doing a happy accident, I'll call it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you're talking about that because, a lot of businesses, we kind of fall into them. Some are planned, right? And some are that we just simply fall into them. What have you seen in your career working with thousands of people that have businesses? Have you found that people miss the fall? You know what I'm saying is like they should have fallen into it and they resisted.
Well, maybe,
give us some experience that you've seen in all of those aspects where it was planned, they fell into it, and then they missed the fall.
Well, I think people miss opportunity that's sometimes right in front of you. Listen, the truth is, in my career, I've up and down and tried some things. Some things worked, some things worked better, some things didn't work. I think sometimes people get frustrated and so something doesn't work, and then they either abandon the whole ship or just move on and maybe miss the unique opportunity within what they were looking at, because I believe things that are planted in us as a great idea, as a seed, probably have something that can grow, right? It's usually, in my opinion, not planted in you unless there's something that can grow. What I've seen is that either people aren't starting, just from a publicity perspective, aren't starting promoting quick enough. You have to promote something when it's a sparkle in your eye, like just a thought and an idea, and people wait too long. Everything has to be perfect. That's the other thing, this perfection trap is what I actually think it is. It's a perfection trap.
Well,
and I like to say progress, not perfection.
Yeah, well, perfection prevents profit. Right? Perfection prevents profit. I mean, the example is that you and I were talking in the green room, right, about a new program I have for certified podcast guests, right, to certify podcast guests. And the minute it came, I mean, God was poking me for a while. And then he shook me, and I finally woke up one morning and I said, I have to do this because I can't take it anymore. Right. I want to make sure that every guest is the best guest for every host, and everybody is profiting from it and getting prosperity from it. And, it was just important. And I started talking about it and telling people about it, interviewing about it, and I didn't even have it completed. Right. And 6 figures later, in a program I put together in 3 weeks, right? That's the kind of thing where you go, God, I got to get it out there. I got to get it out there. And I stumbled upon it, right? But I saw it finally. It took me a while, though.
Yeah, and that's the distinction right there, is that successful people take action. And sometimes your action is going to be perfect and bloom, and you're going to blossom and profit. And sometimes it may be not quite the right direction. You have to, recreate or course correct. Great. All of that is good. The point is, take some action. And I think that would be something I would tell people. That would be it. Take some action.
Yeah, when you're doing, okay. So you mentioned that you had some ups and downs and all arounds and things. So we've all made mistakes, but people who are really successful, they allow failure to be the catalyst for achievement, right? Or success, however. It doesn't have to be colossal. It might just be a small thing. Like I sent the wrong email. I don't know, but I've had colossals.
Haven't we all?
Yeah.
So you want to know, like, my mistake, we'll call it.
When you look back and you go, I don't ever want to feel that again. Oh my God. But how did you get past it? What was it and how did you get past it?
Well, one thing I remember is I tried to do a group subscription program, like basically a subscription program. And this was even before they were kind of the thing. And so I was kind of pushing a rock uphill, is what it felt like to me.
Ooh, yeah.
I also noticed that I personally got bored trying to retain people. I just think you have to kind of find what makes you groove, right? And for me, that was not the right thing. It felt like too much pressure. It felt like tugging people uphill. Now, interestingly enough, I have a publicity mastermind. It is a 1-year program. People do sign up at a reasonable rate, right? And that's all great. And it's totally different for me. It's a different context and a different format. But I will tell you, I launched this program. I did have a few signups. And then I noticed people sort of, lost interest. Blame me, blame them. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. What matters is it wasn't the right program. It wasn't the right program in the right time. I don't think it was the right time. Now we have a better listening for group programs and different things. But I really felt like I was going uphill, and I tried, but it just didn't work. It just didn't.
How did you feel when you said, okay, it didn't work? And what was the gap between that one and when you started the one you have now?
A couple things. One is I've learned a lot, right? I've learned how to run a mastermind that's wonderful, that's highly interactive, that's loaded with a lot of great advantages and program benefits. That's my time really given to them. So I feel like I found what I might call the right formula.
Right.
maybe I just didn't have the right formula. I probably didn't have the right people. I think I've risen in a certain level of my development and understanding of what people need and want. So that's all good, but hey, I was going to try something that sounded good in the moment. And I
Okay.
think sometimes we do that, right?
Yeah. So the gap that I was asking is the timeline. When you first did that one and then you started this new one, how many years was it? Was it months? Was it years?
Years.
Okay, so let's talk about that feeling because as business owners, we tried something and now we're ruined. I tried that before. We've already tried that. It doesn't work. Why are you so different? What uniqueness do you possess that when this came to you and you went, not again? Oh my God, PTSD, right? What got you over it? And
Well, a couple of things. It isn't the same program. I'm not offering it the same. It
yeah,
is a high level mastermind. The investment is much higher. So
gathering. Yeah,
yeah, I'm going to immediately attract a different kind of person. So that's number one.
yeah,
Number two, I'm different, right?
yeah, of course.
Meaning, yeah, it's like I don't need to do that other program that maybe was oriented to a different kind of audience. And now I have a media mastery intensive, and that's oriented to easy cost, easy in, lots of delivery, wonderful program that I do. And I feel really good about that. That's been cooking along. So I recreated and found another way to make an offer to people that was reasonable, high impact, but not so long of a time investment. Because
Yeah.
I do think, we got to watch the market. And one thing that I've always felt strong about is we have to adapt, right? And so when COVID hit, I adapted and I've created new programs actually that stuck and are wonderfully successful now. And I found those, funny enough, in COVID. That's when it happened. It's a little bit out of necessity, right? And I created great programs that are now working really well.
Yeah,
Prior,
what you really did is, if anybody knows the story of Elon Musk, he started with the Roadster. He started with, I'm only going to make a handful of Roadsters at 250 or 200 $250,000 cars, and I'm going to get the cash injection that allows me to then serve everybody else who's going to buy his lowest level car for 60,000.
wow.
And that's exactly what you did. You went high instead of the ascension model, it's a descension model. And it's a model I have followed. That's how I came in because I think a lot of business owners undercut their value and their worth by trying to offer all the discounts and whatnot. Not to say that there aren't times, in the program I was just telling you about, we have a launch price, right? And the price
Right.
is going to go up. But I think a lot of people just start their business on the low side. I'm just going to scramble for everything. And then they get known as the scrambler and it's hard to raise your prices. They get bored. Same thing that you had, as a successful publicist, right? Who never ever stops learning. I have a couple of questions. One is, do you have a mentor?
And by the way, I want to say now that I'm a publicity strategist,
Strategist.
it's different. It's different because I did have a PR agency and
Yeah.
now I've evolved again, right? Because
Yeah, there
I
you
think that's
go.
important. And how have I evolved? To answer your question, yes, I absolutely have mentors. I always have had mentors, sometimes 4 and 5 at a time. I am a big believer in coaches and masterminds and
Yes.
staying around people that know more than I do. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Or at least, as one of my coaches said, is a toe ahead of me in the water.
Yes, that's exactly it. Just one step ahead, just one chapter ahead, right? One chapter ahead is in Catch Me If I Can. They asked him, Frank, how did you teach you're 20 in your 20s, how did you teach a professor, this high level college class? And he said, oh, that was easy. I was one chapter ahead, right? Every day I was one chapter ahead. Okay, here's another question, as a successful publicity strategist, what topics are you studying right now? What are some areas that you're focusing on studying to enhance your skills as a business owner?
Well, I'm always fascinated by funnels, so to speak, and
Yeah.
which ones work and what makes sense. I'm not a big believer in big launches anymore, to be honest. I'm just not. Some of it is what what resonates for me. And I think for all of us, we have to find out what resonates for me. A lot of my peer group and colleagues are doing big launches and, involving a lot of people. Yes, I always have people who help promote my publicity challenges and the, publicity mastery
Yeah,
intensive.
yeah,
Terrific. But I would say I stopped studying some of that. And now I'm still interested in funnels. I'm definitely interested in where does one make the best profit for, my investment of great service and who I am, but really delivering it in the way that works in my life and lifestyle. And I think, honestly, it's important to me now, life and lifestyle.
yeah.
And making sure that I have self-care in, and that I have vacations and time with my friends, and that I'm not, terribly tired at the end of the day, which honestly, has been a problem of overwork. And I think that I'm looking at how do I get more balance. Balance is kind of a funny word. I don't know
Yeah,
that I believe
me
fully in
neither.
balance anymore. I think sometimes we're in high concentration on a
Yeah.
project.
Integration, intention, yeah, all those things, non-distraction. Yeah, I love that. Well, that's what I coach on, right? Is
I
getting
love that.
people from there, getting people from that hustle into the harmony, right? Getting them into the harmony. I love it. Okay, so if you had to, could wave a magic wand, or let's not say a wand, but you could hit a reset button, thinking along your entire career, give us one or two, maybe three things that you would have done differently that would have resulted in you being further along financially, health-wise, relationship, self-care, whatever you want to be far along with. But a couple of things that you would have done differently for those who are listening in and saying, "Ooh, it's not that I won't do it." Because maybe it aligns with them. We don't want to tell people what to and not do, but at least I have my antennas up to just be aware.
I'll tell you, first thing is I would have gotten much more financially literate quicker.
Mhm.
I just like hung my shingle and said, I'm a publicity relations, I'm a public relations expert, right? And I didn't know anything about business. I just dropped out of law school.
Yeah.
I've never been trained. I don't have really any financial training. Now, what I did, I got financial training. I got mentors. I got smart. I know what a P&L is without shaking in my boots now,
Right.
So, but do I still have my financial mentors and people in place to handle things financially? Absolutely. I'm not a bookkeeper. I'm not a CPA. So I'm a big believer in get people to help you with things you
From
don't
day
know.
one. From day one.
Yes,
Yeah.
from day one. Thank you. That
Yeah.
would have helped me a lot instead of struggling along and trying to figure it out myself. Oh boy. You know,
Paying fees for not filing because, yeah. Can you tell I've been there? And I'm a financial guru, right? But not when it came to business in the beginning, right? It was the same thing. Yeah.
yeah,
What
yes.
else? What else would you do different?
I probably would have gotten on stages even quicker.
Yeah.
That
Spread the
did take
word.
a while, and I've been blessed to be on big stages with people like Tony Robbins and Jack Canfield and all the rest of them that I named, and even more. And it's been wonderful. I would have done that quicker. And what was interesting is even when I was on the stages, sometimes I was the only woman.
Yeah.
So I probably would have played that. You too, right?
Yes. And you could have capitalized on that
I
more.
was going to say, I probably would have played that card even better.
Yeah.
You know?
Why do you feel that being on stages is important for a business owner, brick and mortar, online, doesn't matter? Why do you feel that that's important? And we should probably quantify stages. It could be a presentation at a chamber, right? It
That's right.
could be that. And so that's your definition of stages, because I know you.
Yeah. It could be local.
Launching.
Yeah, I'm big on local. I'm big on publicity. Obviously, you're on a stage. I'm on a stage right now on your podcast.
That's
How
right.
wonderful is that?
Yeah.
And I think podcasts are incredible. Publicity is incredible for being on stage. Why? Because you're seen, you're heard, you're an expert. People trust you, and that's why it's important to be seen and heard. And that's why publicity is so great, because it gets you seen and heard, and the trust factor elevates you, rises you, and really connects you to the people that you're meant to be connected with. They will see you and feel, I think, not only connected but trust. Very important, especially in today's market.
Yeah, I think that is important too. And I mean, if you want to elevate your influence, amplify your expertise, you have to let people know that it happens. And you had said this too, as you hung up your license, and went, okay, now I'm here, you know. And this is where that part comes in, that you have to be the voice of that company, you know, and
Yeah.
create a voice for your company moving down, you know, down the road. What's the best advice in business you ever received?
Oh boy, there's been a lot.
Me too. I can work them all down. Yeah.
One of them, it was raise my prices. Like, and by the way, I'm still highly affordable. Even when I ran a PR agency, I was probably at $5,000 a month, still one of the less PR agencies. Everyone else was getting 8 to 10, by the way. And I called myself the Charles Schwab of the PR field. Now, by the way, that was somewhat purposeful. And I have always been very dedicated to making publicity affordable for people, sometimes to my own detriment, I'll just say.
Yeah.
Um, and what I think that means is I noticed when I raised my mastermind price to more, market price, who am I going to attract? Great people who will invest that way and who are committed to their growth in the public relations arena, right? And
Yeah.
so that's made a world of difference.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a really big thing about, I notice every time I raise my prices, by the way, from the beginning of my career, that I would attract better and better people.
Yeah. Well, and it's and I mean, I just want to clarify something. It's not necessarily better people, it's people that are vested, right?
Yeah,
Vested
committed.
people. Because there's a Bible quote, you know, where your heart is where your purse is, right? And it actually, and I felt this way for a really long time. I was so against, I'm going back to Tesla, right? But I was so against charging anything small. And I think the only thing I have is maybe an evergreen program on my website that's for $197. After that, my least expensive thing is $9,800, right? That's my least expensive. And the reason I did that is that when people only pay $97 a month or $9.97 or $14.97 or $24.97, whatever it is, and for those of you that have brick and mortar, when they just want to buy light bulbs from you instead of doing all the electricity in the house, right? And you're pitching those crazy little light bulbs, you're just setting yourself them up for failure. I will say them up for failure because you won't get a great testimonial. Yeah, they came in and changed a light bulb. Yeah, I was in this program and it was $900, but I never even opened it. Never even opened it, right? And so you can't get a testimonial from someone like that, but you can get a testimonial from someone who says, they changed all the electricity so my house wouldn't catch on fire.
Mm.
Right. I was in their mastermind and yeah, it was expensive, but it was worth its weight in gold. It was 10x.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And
Talking about
there's not
value.
money. You will follow, you will show up, you will do. And so it's more about people that are more interested in their success than people who are not squandering, but just skimming the surface of their success.
Yes, that's a great way to say it. Thank you.
And
And
you know, the thing is, they're going to get the light bulb too. They're going to get all of that in the program, right?
I love that.
Yeah, they're gonna get all the pieces. I love that. Any other advice you got that you'd like to share with someone who's listening and starting a business, struggling in a business, you know, working their business and kind of going, what's next?
So for me, it definitely was writing a book. And I'll just say, because I do a lot and help obviously all kinds of entrepreneurs, some of whom don't have books, and some of whom actually I would say don't get a book because honestly, these books, it's a lot of work. I'm
Yeah,
just going to tell you that.
yeah,
From beginning to end. And I was blessed to have, major publishers. That for me was the great advice. Now, for some people, and especially now, you don't actually have to have a main publisher, but I certainly have, and it has made a difference. It absolutely accelerated my career. And I got in with a brand, which is the Guerrilla brand, J. Conrad Levinson, Mr. Grandfather of guerrilla marketing, who had a major reputation, and he's since passed on. But let me just tell you, joining that brand, the Guerrilla brand, where I got to write guerrilla publicity, and Jay was very smart. He picked experts in their arenas who had that kind of experience. So that's how I got to do it writing guerrilla publicity actually really accelerated my career in terms of speaking, in terms of being able to training and all the things I offer. The elevation factor was amazing. And then the super other wonderful thing is that one book led to another book. Next thing I know, I have McGraw-Hill, and my next book on referrals was through them. And then The Profit of Kindness came also on another mainstream publisher. And by my fourth book, what was super great is they basically said, you got the deal, here's your advance, and we want the book in 9 months. By the way, that's super fast. Every other book took like 2.5 years. So part of that was an acceleration, and also into something new that I got to offer, which is now the kindness circles, and a whole nother element of my career.
Right. And the community that you have it there. Yeah. And I think it's important for business owners to understand, especially if we have an expertise, right? Whatever your expertise is, I wrote the book on that.
That's right.
And it's not that, if you're a commodity, I'll pick a dentist today. Sometimes I pick plumbers. If you're a commodity, coaches, speakers, it doesn't matter. But if you're a commodity, and let's say you're a dentist and you're a dentist, you didn't write the book on dentistry, but what you wrote is a book on dentistry the way you see it, your perspective. And that's what you lead with is, I wrote the book on that. And it's not to make, millions of dollars like some authors do, but it's to be the foot. It's actually the hinge for the foot in the door.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the hinge for the foot in the door.
Yes, and I wish I could say that all us authors make millions of dollars, but I like to say thank you for lunch when anybody buys my book. And the point is, it's a leave behind. It's something tangible that will stay with them. And of course, it's a great groundswell for any of my programs, like the Media Mastery Intensive.
Well, where you do make $1 million. So, you can make $1 million from having a book. It won't be from the sale of the book.
That's it. That's it.
All the opportunities that you have as a result of it,
Yes, there you go. So, perfect.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, I'm going to ask you a crazy question. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Well, maybe it's because of what I do, but I love David Bowie's Fame. What's your name?
Oh, yes. Yeah. And you sing it?
Not in total public a lot, but if somebody said, what's your walk-on song, or what do you love? Because I do love that song. It has
my walk-on song is different than my karaoke song. Believe me, I can't sing that one. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. I love that. Okay, so let me think of another question I want to do. If you weren't in this business, what business would you be in?
Tour guiding.
Oh, you love travel.
I love travel. I'm a major adventurer, and everybody always says to me, Jill, you're such a good tour guide. I mean, honestly, I really am.
You should work on it.
I tell people where to go, so to speak. I tell them what to do and what restaurants to eat at, and the whole bit. And I do love it. And I'm just an adventurer at heart. So so because I love to adventure, I love other people to have fun wherever they go too. So I think I do that.
I love that. Okay, last question I have for you today is, would you like to leave us with a quote? You know a lot of things about a lot of people, a lot of mantras, a lot of sound bites. You've read a lot of books. You've done 4 books. You've got to have some type of quote in there that would help a business owner get out of maybe the rat race, get unstuck, have the courage to move forward.
Okay, I'll give you one of mine, and then I'll give you somebody else you've probably heard of.
Okay.
So my quote is, your message matters. Yeah. That's fine. Keep it simple, by the way. Do you notice that? That's called a soundbite, my friends. Your message matters. And the other one is by Abraham Lincoln, who said, whatever you are, be a good one.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah. So if you're going to be a business owner, be a good one. Keep listening to Business on the Vine, because you're getting all these great nuggets from everybody. Yeah. I love it. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I know you have a gift for everybody, and we'll have the link in the show notes. We'll have that link in the show notes, but tell us a little bit about the guide to getting started with publicity.
Absolutely. Well, I put together for all of you a wonderful compilation of great publicity focused nuggets. Like, here's some things to do right now in publicity. And And super great is that there's an interactive live publicity masterclass for you, direct with me, live with me. You can ask me all kinds of great questions. So make sure to sign up for that. It's jilllublin.com/guide. And thank you for putting it in the show notes.
Yeah, I'm happy to. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful guest. I hope you had a great time. I know I did. I learned some great things from you about your business, which I don't get a chance to ask when I see you. We're always talking about publicity and programs and coaching and clients and marketing and all that. And I love getting into the nitty-gritty about everybody's business. So thank you so much for being vulnerable and to share that with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jen. It's a delight and honor to be with you.
My pleasure. And thank you for joining us today. And be sure to hop over to my YouTube channel. We have the link in the notes, and subscribe, because we not only have Business on the Vine, but a couple of other podcasts that I run, along with some other great goodies that we have over there for you. And if you get a moment, please give us a great 5-star rating and write something beautiful that you learned from Jill today so we can relay that to her. And with that said, we will catch you on the next Business on the Vine. Cheers. Thank you for joining us on Business on the Vine. If you found value in today's conversation and would like additional support, go to supportfromjen.com. Remember, the best ideas are always discovered on the Vine. So keep innovating, stay inspired, and continue to grow.